morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Friday morning on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
Woohoo, it's Friday.
The caffeine's hit.
The caffeine has hit because it's National Coffee Day and we're caffeined up.
Woo!
And we hope you are too. Pour another cup of coffee and join us. But first, we're taking a live look outside right now. As you can see, it is incredibly foggy. And depending on where you are, low visibility, especially on the I-90 core, where we know is really the main artery of the city. So meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us now in the Weather Center to take a closer look at all of this fog. And Thomas, you've been very busy over there tracking this for us. So what's the very latest?
Yeah, and the key here is that we want to look at all these camera images to just see exactly where that fog is at its worst, because this is not a widespread issue. It is a downtown Spokane issue specifically. It doesn't look like that at all here at our South Hill studio, so that's why we want to be as pinpoint precise as possible. So there is Riverfront Park. Hard to even see the pavilion there in the foreground, and our cameras, as you saw over the Hamilton exit on I-90 just a second ago, is very foggy. But there's your visibility reports. Half-mile visibility at the airport, which is, of course, near Airway Heights. It's a lot worse over downtown Spokane, and there are zero issues anywhere else for the inland Northwest. So it is really just specifically a downtown Spokane issue in terms of the fog this morning. As for our temperatures, as cool as it's been almost all season, 39 is our current temperature with 100% humidity here in Spokane. A couple other locations in the 30s this morning, including Deer Park, Omak, and St. Mary's.
Overnight, an 8-year-old was killed in a shooting. This happened in North Spokane County. Now, Spokane County major crimes detectives are working to learn more about what happened. Here's what we know. Last night at 9:30 p.m., sheriff's deputies arrived at a home in Deer Park. That is where they found the child. This morning, we've learned from the sheriff's office this was a group of kids who found a handgun. Deputies are still gathering information, but we do know at some point the gun was shot, hitting the 8-year-old. One adult was also home at the time. Deputies say because of the young age of the kids involved and the privacy of the grieving family, this is all the information they're releasing right now. According to data from the Gun Violence Archive, in 2022, guns were the leading cause of deaths in kids in the U.S. For more information on gun-related deaths among children, you can text the word verify to 509-448-2000. You can also watch our story right now on KREM 2+.
The woman who pleaded guilty to lighting fires in the West Hills and Dishman Hills Conservancy has been sentenced to just under 3.5 years in prison. Vicki Smith was arrested in Western Washington on August 10th for starting fires in the West Hills of Spokane. Court records showed that Smith admitted to lighting 8 fires between the West Hills and Spokane Valley's Dishman Hills natural area, quote, at the direction of God. No one was hurt and no homes were lost in those fires.
Last night, the Spokane Police Department continued their Citizens Academy. It is a 5-week, 15-hour course where citizens learn about how police do their job, including the use of force, crime trends, and defensive tactics.
It's an opportunity to just step into the department and see what are we up against in our city and what do police really do and what does the Drug Administration really do.
I feel like the classroom here is a good experience to catch me up on things because now I'm a grandma. But this grandma wants her granddaughter to play safely in the front yard, to be able to walk to the park, to be able to slide down the slide and be safe.
SPD typically hosts one academy per year. The next one has not been scheduled yet. Well, Washington's Department of Health just announced a new dashboard to track drug overdose deaths. It provides data about each death, including the types of drugs involved and whether they were illegal or prescribed. 13 counties currently participate in the program, including Spokane County. There are plans to eventually add the entire state. The DOH reports 1/3 of all injury deaths in Spokane County last year were overdoses.
At 6:05, let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. Washington Governor Jay Inslee has tested positive for COVID again. This time it forced him to cancel his planned trip to Spokane yesterday. The governor's office says Inslee is experiencing mild symptoms and that he will continue working and taking meetings virtually. Seattle police officer Dan Otterer has been reassigned to a non-operational position. Body camera video released earlier this month shows him joking about a woman who was hit and killed by another Seattle police officer back in January. Otterer's comments sparked outrage across the country and called for disciplinary action. He says, though, the comments were taken out of context. The Idaho Secretary of State's office has created a new tool to make Idaho's elections more transparent. The new dashboard will allow Idahoans to track campaign contributions for all mayoral and city council candidates across the state. It will also show where the contributions are coming from. You can find this dashboard at sos.idaho.gov, and that's a look at your morning rush.
All right, to breaking news this morning, California Senator Dianne Feinstein has died. She was the longest serving woman in the Senate. She was first elected back in 1992. Feinstein previously announced to retire after her term in 2025. She was 90 years old. We'll have much more on this throughout the morning here on Up with KREM and bring them to you as we get them. Well, for the first time in Spokane history, a World Championship tournament is being hosted within city limits.
And right now, the podium is hosting the best junior badminton athletes from all over the world. That's where we'll find our Brandon T. Jones this morning. Brandon, you have been getting tips from the pros, and you've really been showing off here this morning. You've been doing an amazing job. Yeah.
Oh no, well, we're having a blast out here this morning, and honestly, I'm sold. I like to consider myself an official fan now because I'm going to start watching these tournaments. I'm going to be locked in, rooting for some of the young talent, especially the young talent that is here in Spokane right now. But right now, I'm joined by the Team USA head coach for the Junior Badminton World Championship squad. We've got Andy Chong over here, and then we also got Hendry Winarto, the assistant coach. And thank you guys just for talking with me this morning, waking up so early. I know it's been an extremely busy week for you both. And so what has it been like?
It's been great. It's been exciting. You know, we have seen a lot of good players, so it's good for the U.S. players to compete against a lot of players from around the world.
Yeah, and you know, and they, like I said, they've been teaching me this morning, and I know last time you got to see me kind of go back and forth. I mean, I didn't really do that great, but we're going to get to see the professionals in action right now. I want to do a little bit of the commentating, and he's good enough to answer questions too at the same time. So I'm going to get out of the way. Can we get, oh, is it okay if I step up? Yeah. Yes. Let's, I'm going to be officiating from over here. This is called the umpire. I always just kind of have to hope that I don't hurt myself as
we're going to demonstrate some,
up.
yeah, sorry. We're going to demonstrate some strokes first.
Woo, 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 woo. Look at this. Look at them go.
So this is a drive.
Okay. This is getting you warmed up. And then Andy, you were saying your son also plays as well.
Yes. He's arriving today. He's playing an individual event.
17 years old, and he does the doubles, right?
Yeah, he does mixed doubles.
All right, and so what is this called right here?
This is called a clear. We try to get it to the base, the far base as possible.
Yep.
And then next, Henry will smash. Then I'll try to defend.
Ooh! Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. This is intense right here, folks. And then also, you know, I think the cool thing about this sport too is just the movement. Andy had me moving before we came on air, and I was, you know, getting hot. I was starting to sweat. Our boy Nate behind the camera, he gets competitive as well, and he was just, you know, moving and zooming. And he just told us that he was like, "Man, are you hot, dude? I'm getting kind of hot right now."
So this bird can go, to travel 300 miles per hour.
Yeah.
For a professional in a smash.
300 miles per hour, folks. That's crazy. On a smash hit?
Yep.
Wow. All right, yeah, don't mind me, Andy. I get to talking, so you feel free to interrupt me whenever because I'll just keep talking and talking.
Yep, so now my turn to smash.
Okay. All right, and the cool thing also about this World Championship, and we mentioned that this is the first ever World Championship within, you know, the city limits of Spokane, but it's also having a tremendous economic impact on this. There's 400 athletes, right, from 40 different countries who are going to be here. I'm even going to get an opportunity to hang out with some of them on Sunday. All of them are teenagers, younger than 19 years old. So you can only imagine what it's been like for them, whether they're coming from halfway across the globe to be here, right here in our city of Spokane. And it's just awesome watching these two pros, these two coaches, you know, teach me a little something because they're also, you know, teaching the future Olympic, you know, athletes of our country. So I want to say thank you guys so much for, you know, waking up with us this early in the morning. And Andy, if you have any final words before we toss it back, what do you got to say? What does the game of badminton mean to you?
It's a game of like you're playing chess.
Yeah.
In chess, you you plan for your move, you go for a checkmate.
Yeah.
Badminton is like you plan for a stroke, you go for a kill.
Nice.
So in badminton, it's a lot of speed, a lot of power, a lot of accuracy, consistency, and then the deception is important. You try not to show your opponent where you're hitting.
That's right.
The more you move your opponent, the less you have to run.
Well, you guys, I appreciate you so much, and we'll toss it back to you all in the studio. We'll be out here for a few more hours, guys.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm so impressed. Like,
Channy
wow.
is like glued to the screen.
I've been sitting here
there.
like this the whole time.
It's just kind of watching it. It seems like it's floating in the air,
Yeah.
but it's going fast, like they say.
Like I said, 300 miles per hour.
My goodness.
That is outrageous to me. I can't wait for us to get back to Brandon because I have so many questions.
Yeah.
This is so
fun.
cool.
All right, Thomas, let's talk about all this foggy weather. Someone just wrote in and said it's pretty foggy even in Post Falls.
Okay, that's good to know because those observations are such a key point of forecasting fog during these morning hours. We're using a lot of camera images to see what it looks like. Didn't look all that bad in Coeur d'Alene. We'll check out some of those post-fall cameras in just a moment. We're now going to take you out to the valley. This is Evergreen on the right side of your screen, the Freya Thor exit on the left side of your screen, and it is just completely drenched in fog coverage. That's really because we've had rain every single day this week, and another batch of heavy rain pushed through between 9 and 10 o'clock last night. So it just put us to that tipping point where that moisture is now being used in the form of fog. It also works out that clear skies at night cool us down, and the cooler the temperatures go, well, the easier it is to hit that saturation point. So just a mix of perfect weather conditions for that. High temperatures today will be right around 60 degrees. Best chance of rain will be over our southern areas at first, with more scattered showers likely this evening.